Bill, as you know, WSOP is my favorite time of year.
Yes.
You know this about me. You know I'm a degenerate. You know I have visions of grandeur. You know I am gonna win the main this year, as I've been telling you. Why the face when I say that?
I'm still looking for you to win one of those 10-seat sit-and-goes. All right.
But when you think about, or at least when I think, and I speak for many of us, when you think about World Series of Poker, there's two names that come into my head every year that kind of represent the regular guy, the I can do it. One is obviously Chris Moneymaker.
Oh, yeah.
And the other is sitting to my left,
Yeah.
Jamie Gold.
Yeah.
The champ from 20 years ago this year.
That was 20 years ago?
Yeah.
I thought that was like 15,
Which,
12,
by the way, is the
12 years
last,
ago.
I want to say the last time you played the main
I think I played the main that year.
was when the year Jamie won.
Yeah, I came in
Thank you for your
177.
donation.
Yeah. No, I actually mid-cashed, well, 25,000. So
Oh, nice.
I think it was 20 years ago.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It is not easy. People don't really understand how hard, and you know, it's funny. It's weird. You, for some reason, Jamie, I see more like haters when they speak of your main event, and it always blows my mind. Like they're like, "Oh, he ran great." That's my favorite line. "Oh, well, he just ran so great." Well, first of all, everyone that wins the main ran great,
You know
right?
what, John, I got to tell you, I've actually heard that. Now that you say that about him,
Yeah.
he doesn't even know. People just love to say stuff like that.
Well,
Yeah.
There's
me
no
tell-
skill involved.
Let me give you a little bit of added color to that. That was compared to the last, let's say, 19, where they showed a lot more of the hands. So now when you're watching the final table, you watch like the last 3 days, you get to see every single hand and a progression. So you'll see them play, let's say, 25 hands in one time, they'll get the nuts, something like that. With mine, it was a highlight reel. They weren't showing all the hands. So all you saw, if you watched it for like 10 hours, you saw me get 10 times I got the nuts. And you figure, he must have gotten the nuts every single hand. It was a highlight reel, and it was put together purposely.
Wow.
Because back then, there just was no bandwidth to be able to show every single hand.
Right.
So if you're watching, if you've ever played a tournament before, you know that if you play 2,000 hands, you're gonna get 100 big hands. And if you show a highlight reel, it could look like you just I just sat back and flopped the nuts
Right.
every single hand.
It was so easy. I could have done that. It was so easy.
So you have to give them a little bit of understanding that they only saw what they saw.
Yeah.
And if you only figured that I just played those 10 hands, that every hand was like that, but you know better.
Of course.
And you're right, there's no such thing as anyone who's won. I didn't say I didn't get lucky, of course I did. But I also played pretty well.
Of course you did.
And I worked my ass off to get to that place. And it's funny, I used to argue with people and try to explain, and now I just say, you're right. I was the luckiest human on the planet.
Yeah.
I could never possibly have imagined that I would just flop the nuts every single hand. I don't even argue with them.
Good for you.
They go, you got the nuts every single hand? I said, yes,
Right.
you are absolutely right. Yes, I did.
And those are the same people that would say, like, I could have coached the Bulls to all those championships
Right.
if I had Michael Jordan.
They
or
also
I could
tell
have
me, they
coached
say
Kobe.
that I could have done that. I go, oh, did you enter?
Right.
No. I said, well, that's your first problem. You probably have to enter before you could possibly win the main event.
Yeah, yeah. How much pressure do you have? Like, we're right coming up on the main for this year now, right? Is there pressure for you every year when you're playing because you're a previous winner?
It's the opposite. It's a combination of things. So the fact that my first time I ever played the main event, I won it.
That's crazy, right?
And so,
Sick.
Sick.
talk about lucky. That was the luckiest thing because I have some of what you have I enjoy the action, and I'd be chasing that dream every year for the rest of my life. And the fact that I didn't need to chase that anymore, and I could kind of relax and not have that pressure anymore. Once you win it once, it's kind of like, if you win the Super Bowl or whatever in
100%.
football, you now have that pressure taken off of you. Now, it doesn't mean I wouldn't love to win it again.
Sorry.
I would love to win it again, but it's not the same as so many other call them pros or people who've dedicated their life to poker, and that they feel that pressure that they need to win it. And so I would say that...
Have you played it every year since then?
No, there were a few years where, especially during COVID, where I was kind of in the hospital and dying, and we didn't know if I was going to make it. I flatlined a couple times. So there were a few years I could not make it out here. But when I've been healthy enough, I'm back to full health, thankfully. I'm very fortunate.
Good.
That's the luckiest thing in my life, is that somehow, I got past all of the crazy COVID stuff where they tried to put me on a ventilator, and that would have killed me. And nobody ever came back from that.
Okay.
That in the hospital that I was in.
Yeah, no.
I watched them all go, and I said,
That
you know
was
what? I'm a plus EV percentage player in my life, and if I've seen 100% of them die who went to the ventilator, I know that it looks like I'm dying, but I'll take my chances without it. And I was one of the only ones that made it through that kind of thing. And so I'm so fortunate. Whoever's looking out for me, whatever it is, the universe has been very good to me. I am on a life free roll now since COVID.
Wow.
So anything that happens is beautiful and great, and I just feel so fortunate. But talking about the pressure of it, I would say that I do have a little bit of added, let's just say, bonus and negativity, where if you make a bet, let's just say a person that hasn't won the main event, if you make a bet, the chances are you will either get called or you won't. But when I make a bet, especially early in the main event, I get 5 callers. Because every one of them says, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I want to have a story that I at least played with you while you're on my table.
It's interesting.
And if you know poker, having 5 people call you, even if you have, let's say, the best hand, 2 aces, you are a dog.
You're a dog.
Every single time you go into a hand, pretty much. So for me, I have to either overplay hands, which then if I get unlucky, sometimes I'm putting myself in a real, but I also get paid off more than anyone I know, because they never believe me, because they think I'm bluffing every time.
Because you got so lucky to win the main.
Well, I got lucky to win the main.
Lucky.
And then when I played high stakes poker, I declared that I wanted to be the greatest bluffer, not the greatest player.
Okay.
And so I get the craziest calls, like where there's 1,000 in the pot, I bet 50,000, and they will call me sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Because they just don't believe me.
Right.
And so I get paid off more than anyone that I know, but I also get called more than most.
Yeah.
And so it makes it very different in cash games.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, because you can fade the the percentages, but in a tournament, you got one shot, you're out.
Yeah.
Right.
So it makes it very difficult for me. I thankfully I've been here. I played 3 events. I did well in 2. I almost won 1.
Wow.
But
good for you.
Yeah, he ran pretty deep like a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, there were 4,500 entries, and I almost won the whole thing, but it all
So you
went...
made it to the final table?
I made it to the final 2 tables.
2 tables. Still, that's great.
And it...
4,500 people.
And people called me with the craziest hands, and somehow...
Because they also just want to say that they busted you, right?
That's another one.
Yeah.
And
Do
somehow...
you put yourself in the main event? Or do people sponsor you?
Oh, I always have sponsors, but I would.
Oh, no.
But even the
No,
first
John
one...
and I are going to take a piece. That's why. I'll be honest with you.
The first one that I played, I was sponsored in. Because we had a Hollywood team. It was called the Bodog team. I don't remember if you heard of Bodog.
Yeah, of course.
It used to be a popular before all of their shenanigans.
Yeah.
But they sponsored me and a whole team of actors from Hollywood.
Yeah.
And so I was sponsored since the first one. And they also said, well, I guess we chose right, that they sponsored one person who wasn't traditionally famous to play on their celebrity team. Because Johnny Chan said, I think this kid's going to win the main event.
Really?
And he's a famous Hollywood agent, but he's not a famous celebrity. You should sponsor him, and he'll bring others.
That's
And
unbelievable.
so they ended up sponsoring me and said, they probably did the right thing.
Johnny fucking Chan.
Johnny fucking
Right?
Chan.
You believe? I mean, that's he was. You remember he was like coaching him a little bit on TV.
He
I don't know how much it really was. They made it for
He
TV.
didn't exactly coach me, but he inspired me. He was my idol, and him and Phil Hellmuth and Chris Moneymaker and all of these guys. I was just such a massive fan of poker. Chris Ferguson and so I got to hang out with these guys, and I wanted them to teach me, But instead, they just kind of let me hang around. They said, whatever you can pick up, kind of like sitting behind us. Because I was playing in a certain level of cash game, but they were playing in the $1 million games. And so I got to sit behind them. And then I figured out, I was playing on 3 levels, which means you can beat all your friends.
Yeah.
But, just because you could beat all your friends at chess doesn't make you a grandmaster. And so I all of a sudden had that epiphany of like, wow, these guys are playing on 7 different levels. And then I just got so deep into it and kind of taught myself and figured it all out. And then I knew that I was no way that I could compete with the best players in the world. So I created a style of talking people in and out of their hands, which is, there's a rule now that you're not allowed to do that anymore.
Right.
Wow.
I'm glad you brought that up because I talk a lot as well at the table. And to me, it's the biggest weapon of all.
It can be, especially if you use it properly, and it can make the game more fun on television.
Yes.
I knew that it was my responsibility as I came from the
Showbiz.
television production world.
Yeah.
And I knew that this would be really boring if I never said a word and I won the whole thing and I was just steamrolling everyone. It would be a really terrible broadcast for television, and poker needed that second boom. And so I felt like it was my responsibility, win or lose, to make it really interesting. And so I would just start doing the Jedi mind trick and some neurolinguistic programming, and I would just and also everybody told me it actually did make their time more fun.
Yeah.
There's some people now who are berating people and yelling at them and wasting time.
I hate that.
That is not my style, and I know it's not your style. You're not trying to ruin the game.
No.
Terrible.
We're trying to make it more
Make it fun.
interesting
And
maybe have a little edge for ourselves in the process.
100%.
Great.
Yeah.
And if we give something away and they actually, have an advantage on us, that's okay too.
Right.
But we made it fun.
Yeah.
Because in the end, when we all die, we're not going to remember exactly how much money we made. We're going to remember the experiences, the love that we had with other people, right? We're going to remember our friends and our family and the time that we had, but we're not going to remember, I won or lost a specific hand. Life isn't necessarily about the exact dollar amount that you can earn every year, as long as you have enough to live. Thankfully, we're all fortunate that we're here and we can fund our, call it, action or our or DGen life.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of yours too, and Bill knows I'm a big fan of his.
Thank you.
I've been a sports bettor for 25 years, and we all live a similar type of life in some way or another. Mine is probably more focused on business than yours is, but we all understand the thrill, the upside, the downside. It's not as glamorous as everyone thinks that it is all the time, but it also has these incredible moments of excitement and thrill. And so the fact that you and I met 15 years ago.
Ages ago, yeah.
We were kind of working together on the Strip.
Yeah.
When I had a poker room on the Strip.
Yep.
And they, the owners turned out to be less than savory, let's just say. And but there was the Brad Garrett Comedy Club there, right?
Yep.
There were, what was it? The Dancing with the Stars was over there, and the Mob Museum was over there, and everybody had to walk because it turned out that the owners, didn't want to pay us. And so the fact that you've created, I love your podcast. I love Bill's content. I love all of your poker content now. Me and my friends, we all follow you guys. And so
oh, wow. Nice.
To me, this is an honor for me to be here with you. I'm lucky I'm going to go do the WSOP countdown show. And
cool.
Do an hour with ESPN.
Which, by the way, they have you saw in there where we did a couple episodes.
Yep.
What they've done in that room, production-wise, they
Isn't
have
it
raised the
amazing?
bar.
And it's their first time, and people are still complaining
It's so
and
crazy.
saying like, "Oh, they're not doing this, they're not doing that." People have no idea how hard it is to pull this off. We know, but the average person just thinks, "Well, why don't they have this? Why don't they do that? Why didn't I get to watch this?" It's their first year, and they're doing a fantastic job. And also, sometimes the host might say something a little off, and they say, "Well, that host wasn't perfect today." Do you have any idea how difficult it is to do what you guys do, to entertain people on a daily basis, to fill dead time? And if you say something a little off, if someone was following you with a camera 24 hours a day, you at home, you'd probably say something that you could clip that might be a little off, that the world wouldn't love.
Yep.
You know, give people a break. My God, it's
That's
just
a great short he just did.
It really is.
Just in general, like really, it's a first year. Give him a break.
Yeah.
You know? Very good, Jamie.
Joe Rogan said a couple years ago on his podcast, he said, if you talk on a microphone long enough, you're going to get in trouble. And it's just a fact. Like, because like you
doesn't
said,
mean you're a bad person.
Right.
Doesn't mean you're racist.
Sometimes you
you're...
misspeak. Sometimes you get tongue-tied. Sometimes you say something. It just,
if you have to watch what you say and be professional, and 99% of the time you're putting out great content, you are amazing.
Yeah.
It's not easy. People think that it is. Just like you said, people think they could coach the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl,
right,
and they're better than Andy Reid. Good luck with that. Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, the one play you could have done better. What about the 10,000 things that led up to that play?
Yeah.
Just like the same where if we make a mistake as a poker player, that's the thing that they're going to harp on. What about the 10,000 things that I did to get to that spot?
Right.
You know, you wouldn't even have gotten to that spot to make that play, so stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Is there anyone that you have not played with in the poker world that you want to play with?
That is a really good question. Nobody's ever asked me that.
Like if you could pick 3 people, I'd love to have a heads-up match with these 3. Who are they?
Well, you know, sometimes you would choose based on easy to win.
Right.
So like, I'd love to have a heads-up match with a billionaire that doesn't know how to play the game, but's a bad person. Because I don't want to take money from a good person.
You don't have contempt.
But a bad person that I would love to show them that
a
better player can beat. You know, so that's one. I'm trying to think. I think I've played with almost every what you would call well-known professional.
Like even like Doyle back in the day.
Oh, Doyle was, first of all, Doyle was one of the first people that ever came up to me during my run and gave me credit for, he said, kid, this is the most amazing run I've ever seen.
Wow.
You've been chip leader for 8 days straight. No one will ever break that record. Trust me. It will never happen again.
That's crazy.
What you're doing is extraordinary. And he said, don't listen to all the haters because people are going to hate just because you were successful. They're gonna make up stories about you, which they have.
This is before social media.
They're gonna say you cheated your way. They're gonna say, and he gave me this talk, and it just made me love him forever.
Wow.
And so I think I donated some money to him, not on purpose. I was trying to win.
Right.
But I think I donated some money to him on high stakes poker, and I'm so glad that I did.
Wow.
So I did. I've gotten to play with most of my heroes and the people that I've gotten to play with, almost everybody. And I'm trying to think if there's somebody that I
want to
haven't.
see you heads up with Cabral for obvious reasons. Just
I've gotten to
war
play
of
with
words.
him.
I want to.
But you know what? That would actually be really interesting.
It would be so good.
That would be
you
very
and Martin Cabral,
interesting.
and you and Will Kassouf.
I've also played with him.
We need to see it on TV
many times.
Yeah.
You know, we just have completely different styles. I don't go to the negative place. I think they do sometimes.
Yeah.
For you.
And so, you know what? That's actually a great. I would enjoy playing heads up.
Yeah.
With those guys, I think that's a great one. And then there are, you know, I like to host these celebrity charity poker tournaments, which I hope you guys will make.
Yeah.
And the next one's on July 22nd at Paramount Pictures, our 14th annual. We take over the whole studio. And
Nice.
Please.
Where's this at? LA?
Come.
Yeah.
We do celebrity charity poker.
I'm looking at you. I'm waiting for you to confirm we're going. I'm looking at Bill, waiting for the confirmation we're going.
Yeah.
Please, it would be so great to have you. This one, I believe, is on a Wednesday. It's July 22nd. It's not open to the public.
Wednesday's a good day.
It's 800 people, invitation only.
Yeah.
And
it's
you guys are
binding,
absolutely
Bill.
invited.
Verbally binding. We're at a poker table. It's verbally binding.
We'd love to have you.
I love that. Anything with charity is great for me.
Yeah, there are some we do that are completely open, and we love for the public to come, but there's just not enough room at this one. But my point is that there are celebrities that I would love to play with.
Oh, okay.
Not to take their money, just to have the experience of talking, learning about them, almost like an interview.
Yeah.
That you get to sit down, and that is, I believe that the poker table is one of the most amazing, socially democratizing places where everyone is basically even, right? If you are homeless, if you're a billionaire, if you're a celebrity, if you are man, woman, whatever, right?
Yep.
Any walk of life, any race, anything that you do, we're all basically even at a poker table.
Right.
Anyone theoretically can win.
Yep.
And I was taught that at a very early age, that just treat people with respect and kindness, and it's amazing, how much will come back to you in your life. Just put out good karma, treat people well, and your life will be great. And I think that if more people would do that, just be kind to people, just be more understanding, just same way that everyone's complaining about this podcast or complaining about, not yours, but you know what I mean, that people are just constantly, the comments, the negative comments sometimes outweigh the positive comments, because people who love you don't always take the time to comment.
Right.
But it's like Howard Stern said, that the people in the beginning, when he was becoming famous, they showed that the people who hate him would watch and listen 10 times longer than the people who love him.
Yeah.
So the haters really have mental issues. That their life is so miserable.
It's worse now,
Do you ever imagine taking the time? I don't have the time to go and post on the internet what I hate about somebody when I'm not even sure about what I'm hating about them, right? Like the things that people hate sometimes about me, they're actually incorrect.
Right.
I didn't cheat in the main event. I'm sorry. I never stole money from anybody. I'm sorry. All the things you think that there were rumors going around. Sorry. Do you ever take the time to actually check your facts before you start spewing hate about somebody? And then check yourself, that if your life is about trolling on the internet,
sad.
You could be doing so many more positive things with your life. Yes, if somebody is a killer or a criminal or evil or what, sure, take the time and maybe, but we are not that.
Yeah.
And so we're playing poker, or betting on sports, or doing something fun for a living, trying to entertain people. Check yourself a little bit.
Very good. Very good. It is a lot of misplaced rage and stuff. People under anonymity. We see it all the time. Someone came down and they didn't come down. Someone threatened John.
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah, they threatened.
They were going to
the nicest guy in the world.
They were going to come get him. Like they were coming. I'm coming down there, and he said, "Bill would agree with me." Under anonymity, they want to come. So we actually did wait around, and we actually just were, just taking some extra precautions, looking around.
Well, I'm a sicko, obviously, because I DM back.
He
and
invited
go,
him.
12:15. I'm gonna break for lunch, and I'll be back at 1.
Come see me.
Yeah, I can't help
I've
myself.
done that in the past, and then I realized you don't want to engage.
Yeah,
I love his whole stance. I had no idea Jamie Gold even had these different things going on in his life in the last 20 years, and how he thinks about it now. This was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
You don't know how many little shorts you're going to have that could be viral here.
Yeah.
Just talking about life and what has happened in 20 years, and about people, doing the things they have done to him over the decades. I didn't even know he had this baggage that he actually said, screw it now. He's just be nice to everybody. He's nice, and I'm sure someone stops you in the hallway, you're going to take a picture with him.
Always.
Always.
I've actually never said no.
Right. There you go.
To anyone.
There
I've been kind, but there have been moments. We all have our moments where, let's say, you had a long night the night before, and you're late for something. Like I had to get to this podcast, and somebody stops and they grab you physically.
Wow.
The lack of self-awareness sometimes with people,
it's crazy.
that they don't respect your space,
Right.
and they will just grab me and feel like you have to come and hang out with us, and I'll just say I'm actually late for something. I apologize, and I've had those moments where I tell people I'm happy to do it after. But we also do have appointments and things that we have to do, and once in a while. And I'm not saying I'm so special. It's just that I wouldn't ask anybody else for their immediate time if once in a while it's not. And so I used to represent celebrities. That's what I did, in my former life in Hollywood 20 years ago.
Do you miss that?
I do miss it, but I got burned out, and I was representing 50 people, and if you represent one, you're on call 24 hours a day.
Yeah, for sure. I can't even imagine.
I was just overwhelmed at a certain time, and that's why I retired when I was 35 and just spent a year focusing on poker and took one shot. I could never play the main event. I didn't take a vacation for 12 years when I was working. I was just working 7 days a week and wanted to earn as much as I could so that I could retire when I was young. And so I was very fortunate, but I only miss the people. I don't miss that part of the business. I love investing in movies and TV shows where I can help create content, but I don't miss being on call 24 hours a day. But I was going to say that I learned to help people who went from obscurity to superstardom. I had much more of an understanding of what it was going to be like.
Sure.
Not that I was a superstar, but meaning I went from most people don't know who I was to hundreds of millions of people recognized who I was around the world.
Yeah.
There is a big change in your life when that all happens, when you win the main event, and it was at the height of the media attention
around
in poker.
100%.
If you won the main event a few years ago, maybe not as much, but I was at the right place at the right time. And so if you could imagine, the kind of attention that creates, during that time.
Most people are nice, Jamie, though, right?
I knew how to handle it. Almost everyone. By the way, the haters aren't so bold in public.
They want a photo with you.
Of course not.
Right, yeah, and a lot of times they do. I love that. They do. They say, can we take a photo? I'm so excited. And then they'll make a little comment like, oh, it's too bad you did. And I said, have you checked your facts, man?
Wow.
I didn't cheat in the main event. I'm sorry. I know. And by the way, what's also so funny, use some logic. People thought I had a backer. If Bodog was sponsoring me, why would I have taken a backer? I had plenty of money. I didn't need the money. So it just doesn't make sense. Then, if I had cheated, everything was on camera. Do you think that the World Series of Poker would still make me one of their favorite ambassadors and people? Do you think I'd still be a part of the family and they would be promoting me on videos? And use your logic.
Yeah.
Come on. You think, oh, no, they're just overlooking all of that. It's okay that he cheated. I never cheated in the main event. I never had a backer in the main event.
Wow.
Like, just come on, use your brain sometimes. It's just so odd that's, and and by the way, if that's the worst thing that has to happen to me is that people believe in false rumors, my life is pretty good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm pretty fortunate. I get to sit here with you guys and I get to go play the main event. And we do have to be, a lot of poker players, I think, take it for granted. Do you know how amazing your life has to be? That just in terms of the world, of the billions of people that are in the world, of how lucky we are, no matter what kind of problems we have, that we could actually go and play in a $10,000 buy-in main event, whether we're sponsored or not, that's not the point. It's just the point that we have the time to go and do this, and we're allowed to play a game for fun and potentially win millions of dollars. And I get to come and sit here in the WSOP store doing a podcast with my old friends.
It's amazing.
And our lives are really fortunate.
I only asked because I want to take a piece. I was ready to put up $1,000. Let me have a piece. Yeah, no. This has been great.
Let me ask you this before we go. For the main event, what flight are you playing? Do you know yet?
I have not decided yet.
What do you recommend?
What do you recommend?
First flight, last flight, straight to day two?
There are positives and negatives on each. So if you are playing, let's say, for example, if you're playing on July 4th, the word is that more people from Europe, because will play that day because they don't care about the U.S. holiday. So, and there is a thing called like the Euro factor.
That is absolutely
okay.
A
Well,
thing.
I'm not trying to perpetuate stereotypes. I'm just saying that people do believe that Europeans play in a certain style. So if you would like to play with more people who are not from the United States, maybe, or more people who are sober, who don't want to party that day, that's a thought. So, but it will be a much lighter day. So the tables probably won't be 9 or 10 handed. They'd be 8 or 9 handed. So you have to consider that.
Wow.
On the final day, you have to consider that you're going to be playing with twice as many people as that day before, and that they're then going to condense the final into a day 2 where you're not going to play with the days from A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. So you have to consider that also. And so there are just so many things to consider on each day. I think there isn't one real day that gives you any major advantage. Mm-hmm. I also don't like buying in on day 2 directly.
You don't?
No. I actually like to play through. But I do understand for certain people's styles, it makes more sense to have less big blinds, but maybe a third of the field is gone, I understand that can make sense for a lot of people. You also have to decide, do you want a day off on Monday or Wednesday, right? It changes your days off. Mm-hmm. You only get one day off in the beginning and then no days off until the end. This year they're holding it for 2 weeks so they can promote it, right. When you're getting to the final table.
No. So this year it ends on July 15th.
Yeah.
But the final table is August 3, 4, 5.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
So
Okay.
remember they used to do November 9 for a little while?
November 9.
So now there's just a 2-week break.
And what's also really special is that for the first time, the World Series of Poker main sponsor is Solana. The blockchain crypto technology. And so the fact that crypto, sports betting, poker, esports, the entire gamified community is all coming together. This is a major thing.
Yeah.
There's been over $10 million worth of Solana crypto buy-ins to the World Series of Poker already, and they haven't even really announced it. They announced it, but they haven't done major press and a major push yet. And the fact that crypto is all coming into poker, and sports betting has been coming into poker, and fantasy sports, and all of casino games and all of that, these ecosystems are all intersecting.
Soccer.
The World Cup is also today.
Yeah. Only in soccer. Only you can be shooting a podcast for 3 hours and you don't hear a peep. And then the one time someone finally scores in a soccer game, there's an eruption. Sorry, you know how I feel about soccer. Are you a soccer? I just can't get into it.
I am not a day-to-day fan.
Yeah.
But I do love the World Cup.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know, Jamie.
Because I like betting on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about that before we wrap up. Sports betting all the time, daily?
Every single day, basically 365.
He's one of your people.
For the last 25 years.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I do believe that you can have an edge, and you know that you can have an edge, but I know it's funny how so many people believe it's impossible to win as a sports bettor. That is actually not the case. It is very rare that there's a winning sports bettor, but there are some amazing.
I wish they were all consultants for the sports books that throw us out. Yeah,
right. We're all banned from. Not banned, but I'm allowed to bet I'm allowed to bet $12. DraftKings lets me bet $12. So if you're a winner, you have to find different outs and different ways to get your money down. But it doesn't stop me from loving the process and loving. I've been betting on sports since I'm probably 6 years old. I mean, I remember in 77, 78 when the Dodgers lost to the Yankees in the World Series. I lost a lot of money for me at the time when I was 12 years old. I won $1,300 in '81 on the World Series when the Dodgers finally beat the Yankees.
Yeah.
And $1,200 to a 12-year-old. Now 12-year-olds have businesses, but back then, 40 years ago, that was not the case.
Right. Sure.
So I was gambling way over my head.
We all did it
when I was 12 years old.
We all did.
And so I was. I've always been part of this community and ecosystem, and so I am one of you.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Jamie, I can't thank you enough. This has been a crazy year for me. Having the World Series let me do the podcast right here in the new merch store, and it only made sense to have you on as the first poker player.
Well, we'll do it again because we have
show.
so much more to talk about.
Yeah,
I want to talk about you and Bill and all your sports betting.
Yeah.
And you should talk about your sponsors. And,
yeah, for sure. We'll definitely do this again, man.
Yeah.
You're one of the people that opened my eyes to you don't have to be a pro, and you could possibly win the main event, and that's
I do not spend all day every day playing poker. I do play it a lot. It's my favorite hobby.
Yeah.
But you do not have to be a 24/7 poker player to win the main event.
Yeah. And Bill's going to play this year.
Is that true?
We'll see.
Oh.
Well, we're all taking a piece.
Good deal.
Yeah.
This has been so good that you don't realize till you look back at this.
Yeah.
Some of those clips with him talking like that, it was like reading into my mind. And,
yeah.
And I don't read comments no more. I used to. But that would come out of me about there's so many things that you said make so much sense. And, I'm of the old school that says, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything.
Yeah.
That's what our parents taught us.
Yeah.
We all had good old school parents that taught us that. But these people, like you said, it was fantastic. I love this. This was a great episode.
I'm gonna leave you guys with this quick story. I'm playing in the 250 daily because I busted in whatever I busted in. Jamie, no one, you're a record holder. You know, you won the main event. You are forever immortalized as a main event champion. No one has busted in more poker tournaments in this building than the guy you're looking at right now. Sadly. Oh, we lost our logo because I talked too much,
sorry,
Travis.
but that's that's a record.
Yeah, now it's like we're doing the show in the Bahamas now. This is amazing. So I'm playing in the 250 daily. I'm in the 250 daily about a week ago. And I'm playing with this nice guy, you know, like you know, we make friends at the table, you're talking, you're entertaining, you're having a good time. And this guy at the table says to me, hey, I love your show with Crack. I go, oh, wow, thanks. He goes, did you find him? Because a month ago I said, Crack, if I find you a sponsor, will you play the main? He goes, yes, if you find a sponsor, I'll play the main. So I've been reaching out to like Pink Cherry, you know, they're one of my sponsors, but they only wanted to put ladies in. So that was not going to work. So I've been trying to find, I'm on a mission to get Crack back in the main event because the last time he played in the main was 20 years ago, right? So this guy says to me, well, did you find a sponsor for him? Because he listens to the show, to Wisecracks. I go, no, I didn't yet, but I'm still working on it. He says to me, well, I'll put him in.
Oh, I didn't even, this is news to me.
Yeah. I go,
didn't even know.
well, what? He goes, yeah, I'll put him in. I go, okay. Now we're at the poker table. You know, you're from Hollywood and L.A. I grew up in L.A.
We've heard a lot.
My dad's
of that.
Tony Orlando. I've heard it all. I've heard it all, right? So I'm like, okay, but there's something about this guy that, like, as crazy as it sounded, I believed him, right? So I'm like, okay, yeah, let me know. He's like, yeah, okay. So he ends up busting out of the tournament. He goes about his way. I'm playing, and then, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, he comes back. And this time he's wearing a hat. Like, I didn't even recognize him at first. And he says, hey, and he puts this plastic bag. I don't have the bag, but I open up the bag, and he gives me that.
Wow.
And he says,
I can't believe you didn't blow this at roulette.
I know, believe me, Bill, it was hard.
It had to be, yeah.
Bill, it was hard.
I better take this now.
You know?
How awesome is that?
You better grab this now.
He says to me, you know.
So who was it?
It's that gentleman right there.
Oh.
What?
Wow.
Gary, come on in here, Gary. Come on in here for a minute.
That's really nice of you, Gary.
Bill Krackomberger.
How are you?
This is Gary.
It's very nice of you.
Gary
Yeah,
has
thank you.
I know I'm screwing up, and Jamie
Nice
Gold.
to meet you. Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
So
that's really cool.
So, Gary, you're unbelievable, Gary. So Gary comes back. He says, yeah, I just wanted you to know I was serious. And I was like, I actually believed you.
Wow.
And he just literally went to his room, or I don't know where you went, to a
So you
safe.
guys are partners now.
Yeah, so.
You're going to win the $10 million for him?
You're in the main event, buddy.
Wow, good deal.
Three-way partner.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, no problem at all. I mean, I just had no interest in playing a year. I played one time, I cashed, and I said it. And last year I played in the main, last year I played in the seniors.
Yeah.
I cashed one tournament. And he said, if I get someone to put
Well,
you
you're
in,
back in 100% casher.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
That's really cool.
100% casher. I love it.
Right.
All right,
right.
gang.
Good deal.
Hey, can I say one thing?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, please.
This is the ultimate junkie.
Oh,
Action junkie.
Yeah.
He's in the Normandy room playing. He's in the Paris playing. He's in the Horseshoe playing. He's got these two young fellas trying to keep up with him. 4 o'clock there. And he's still over in a 250, wide open. And I believe he would call an all-in if I had a 9-8.
right. That's
If
his
he knew
birthday.
I had a 9-8.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks, great, Gary. Thank you very much.
It's good
Wow,
stuff.
that's fantastic.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Well done.